Hi, it's Sachi. Today we are going to stitch along outline stitch. In this video, you can check how to stitch outline stitch, how to finish it, plus how to close up a circle and how to make corners with outline stitch. Let's get started. Outline stitch creates a seamless line by laying half part of the working thread on the last stitch, meaning coming back to the surface by bringing up the needle at the midpoint of the last stitch. This is just a bonus information, but let me share with you. If the working thread comes above the line of stitching, it is called outline stitch. On the other hand, if the working thread comes below, it is called stem stitch. They look super similar and the effect is also, so as long as you keep the pattern of working thread move, no major problem so to speak. Stem stitch is named after the fact that the stitch is particularly suited for stitching stems of plants. When you finish outline stitch, do so with stitching the half width. When you make a circle with outline stitch, you can start to stitch like as always. There are two tips to make a pretty circle. One is to stitch with rather smaller stitches so that the constant curves are made nice and smooth. If you make a too big stitch for the angle of the curve, it can't create the ideal form for the curve. Two is to close up the circle by stitching at the midpoint of the first stitch. Working in this way, nobody can tell where you started the first stitch. When you make a corner, there's a thing you need to pay attention, since the point you bring down for the first side will be the point the next side starts. If you just stitch as it seems on the surface, the thread cannot stay there, it gets undone. So let's start with stitching a line as usual to make the first side. Finish the first side with a half-width outline stitch. When you start the next side, you start it by stitching a teeny tiny back stitch, which will be covered by the first outline stitch. This back stitch needs to be the half width of the outline stitch you are going to make. The first outline stitch should be brought down where the first stitch of the first line was also. Then bring up the needle where the back stitch was brought up and continue. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give me a lovely thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. See you in my next video. Bye!